I congratulate the Noble Lord Bridges and his committee for this valuable report and its hard-hitting title, and my fellow peers in this debate on their many excellent speeches to date. It's a pleasure to follow the Noble Lord Macpherson of Earl's Court. I declare my interest as a businessman, investor and author on this topic. I'm concerned, as was my noble friend Lord Forsyth, that the report was published 6 months after when most of the evidence was taken, with this debate then a further 7 months later. Despite my noble friend Lord Horam's good points, its recommendations are dated. Furthermore, as the noble Lord Macpherson has just said, they're mostly process or rules-based rather than action-oriented. A few more concerns. First, the rapid growth in debt is not because of economic shocks or Russia's barbaric war on the Ukraine or COVID. It's because we spent profligately. Under the previous government, to be clear, during COVID, because no one worried about inflation when increasing the money supply, because of our ruinous energy policy, because our too high spend continues unabated. We could have adopted the COVID policy of Sweden or Florida. We could have avoided inflation like other countries. We could have reduced our post-COVID spend. We didn't. The report proposed increasing tax revenues to pay for increased spend, but my somewhat egregiously named Moyni curve says that there's a ceiling on how much tax overall a given country's citizens will cough up. For 10 years, I've consistently and so far correctly predicted that the UK's overall tax take won't rise much above 36% of GDP. Yet the OBR's forecast for Chancellor Hunt's 2023-24 budget was that tax revenues would rise to 37.7%, almost 38%, well above that 36%. So, did they? They did not. Actual tax receipts for that year were 35.7% of GDP. Now, the OBR predict the tax take from Chancellor Reeves's current budget to again be 38% of GDP. But it won't be. How could it be, with so many business closures and this flood of high flyers, ambitious youth, enraged millionaires and non-doms all pouring out of our country? So how long will this misplaced belief that the overall tax take can be goosed up continue? How many more large deficits do we have to see before sense prevails? Will growth arrive to save us? Both the IMF and the OBR predict growth of just 1% this year. That's no help, and they're over-optimistic. The government doesn't understand how to produce growth and that there is no money. Deficit and debt figures released this week support my prediction that our debt-to-GDP ratio will inexorably rise over some 10 years to 150% or more if we continue on this path. Nothing extraordinary is required to get this right. We just have to get back to the first few years of Tony Blair's government when, courtesy of John Major's government, we ran a surplus and debt levels were reducing. We can do that again. My Lords, to finish, our current levels of deficit and debt are unsustainable. Debt service at 9% of government expenditure and rising is crippling us. I ask the noble Lord, the Minister, will he acknowledge that the current level of national debt is entirely unacceptable and commit to bringing it down as a top priority?